What's going on, people? Welcome to the live match reaction. Forest 1, Palace 0. Joined by Nick here to talk about the game. The lines are open already as well if you do want to call into the show. Disappointing defeat away from home. You can click on the pinned comment. As always, I know the circumstances aren't great, but if you can do so, please drop a like and subscribe. If you do enjoy the content, it does help us out massively, even if you're watching on replay. I haven't even spoke to Nick, to be fair. I didn't speak to Nick through show. I'll be honest, I'm so pissed off. I'm so pissed off today. I'm so pissed off today. Today, that performance, at least in other performances, we had something to talk about. We had missed chances of Eze against Liverpool. We had, we had something going forward. And Forest are not a bad defensive side. They are a very good defensive side. But it's clear as this to me. He either changes the system or we change managers. Simple as that. Because this system's not going to work and we will get relegated with this system. Simple as that. The dilemma for him is we've got 3 starting centre-backs with Chalobah, Guehi, Lacroix. One of them will most likely have to hold bench because Munoz will be starting down the right-hand side. If it was Chalobah, for example, he can play left-back, then I'll say yeah, but he can't. So one of them will have to hold bench, but he has to make those decisions now as a manager. This system is simply not working. Baffin and subs as well in the second half, taking off Nketiah and Hughes, 2 of our best players in my opinion. At least Nketiah was trying to create something, beat his player, take the shot on. What on earth happened after those subs? Tell me.
Forest scored and we kind of went into zombie mode. You could see it in their eyes.
Done nothing.
But I'm going to counter what you're saying and to give people a chance. I'm not going to lie, D. I don't want to spend too long on this tonight because it's fucking depressing. But what I will say, it's fine margins. You had a Forest keeper who made 2 very, very good saves. Had one of them gone in, we had a keeper what made a mistake. Now, I haven't even looked at social media to see what kind of a caning that Hennessy's getting. But
what chances did you make, Nick? What chance? How many times did you go in the box and say, "Oh wow, a decent chance"? He's had to make saves from shooting outside of the box.
Yeah, but we've got the ball going into the box at last, but Mateta wasn't on the pitch.
We didn't create anything, Nick. This game, going forward, we didn't create anything properly. It was just a bunch of individuals. The system is not working. There's no width there.
Oh, no, we had some lovely moves, but it just wasn't consistent. And there was one point in the game where we made a sub.
Forest deserved the win. We didn't create enough. The stats are the biggest lies out there today. Yeah. We can look at the stats. It's the biggest lie. It's the biggest lie out there. We didn't do nothing. We didn't do nothing today on the ball. It was a bunch of individuals trying to create something. This system is not working going forward. It's evident now. The reason why it's not working is because of the wing backs have no support. Munoz in the first half running down the right-hand side and no one is there. No one is there to support him. We've been talking about the right-hand side all season long, and no one is there still to support him. Whenever he gets a ball, he either puts in a ball into the box, hoping for the best, or he has to play it back because there's no one there to do 1-2s. There's no support. There's no balance in this side right now. The difference is people can talk about Elise, but the biggest thing that we're missing is forget about Elise, we're missing a right-sided player who can actually get on the ball and support Munoz. This system is not working. I'm sorry, it's just not working going forward.
Well, the thing is, although we haven't got anybody that gets the ball and runs with it. Eze, I thought he might have been that player, but he's not really. He's very good, but he's not a run-up player. He's a kind of glide past players. You look at Elise, the run and goal he scored against Luton last season. You look at what Andy Johnson used to be like, getting the ball. All right, it was quick, and it was a few years ago. But we missed somebody like that who's going to get the ball. We had Zaha who used to do that. We had the guy that went to Turkey and won European Cup with Chelsea, Moses. But we haven't got anybody like that, and I think that's a difference. You're right to say that Forest have got a very, very stingy defence. They really have, but I still think it's one of those fine margin games, and it's shit. But on another day, we could have won it 2-1. So, and we we'd still say, "Oh, right, we're a bit worried about how we're playing," but we weren't truly awful, but we weren't brilliant either. The two teams kind of cancelled each other out, I thought. But Forest are a lot better than they have been lately.
I disagree. I don't think we had anything going forward, but of course, it's a game of opinions. We'll see what others are saying as well. I know a few people have called into the show, so we'll go and see what others are saying. But to me, I think it's simple. We've tried it with Sarr, Nketiah, Eze. We've tried it with Nketiah, Kamada, Eze. We've swapped Eze to the right-hand side. We've done Mateta, Eze, and Nketiah. It's just not working. It's not working. It's just not working up there. It's not, in my opinion, it's just not working. I don't think it will work. But the thing is, he has to make a big call because he signed 3 centre backs, and one of them will have to drop the bench. We have to go to a back 4, and we have to have a bit of creativity at least through the middle and put players out wide. Like, we just have to go back to the basics. We have to go back to the basics. Otherwise, it'll cost him his job. Forget about his job. I don't care about Oliver Glasner's job. Managers come and go. It'll cost us our Premier League status if it continues with this. Simple as. We're not gonna. It's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen because we just don't have the players to play the system anymore. It's becoming evident. But going into the game, I did think, there wasn't much wrong with the lineup. But then again, as you watched it, it's the same old issues. It's just 3 up there trying to do something, and we just don't have anything else. When with the 3 up there who are playing so narrow, you need a bit of width there, and we just don't have it in the system because we don't play with wingers. We play with 2 central number 10s, and the wing backs are meant to provide the width, and they're just simply not providing it. And even with the 2 number 10s, Eze is playing down the right-hand side today, but how many times did he link up with Munoz? Barely any. It's just not working. It's just not working. So yeah, I think today's a mess. It's a mess. I don't think I've been this upset this season about a result other than today, because today I genuinely don't think we deserved anything. We got lucky at times with some of the great shots, etc. But it just I'm looking at things to carry on to the next game. In the Liverpool game, for example, we still create chances with the subs, etc. We got into the box a few times today. It was just hopeful. You just take a shot from 30 yards out and expect for the best. Or Nketiah beating his player. But they're just 3 players in attack. Like, we're not attacking as a team. It's just frustrating to watch. And it will cost us if he doesn't change it. That's my opinion. But let's bring on Bollocks first. Bollocks. That was absolutely bollocks from Palace. It has been season.
Yeah.
He make of it. Nick thinks, we created chances on another day. We could have got a result. I think it weren't good enough going forward, and something needs to change. Where do you stand?
A bit of both. I think that was a very poor Forest team. It really reminded me of that game. I think it was last season with Roy, when we had Forest and Fulham at home, and we got back-to-back 0-0s, and it felt like good results because we didn't have any creation or anybody there. I think that's probably how the Forest fans were feeling as the second half got going, because we did look a little bit more into it. And of course, they then get the moment where Henderson makes it 1-0. But from that point on, we just, as you said, they like glazed over. No one really wanted to take the game by the scruff of the neck. We'd taken Hughes off by that point, who had a point to prove being from Derby. And you had Schlupp, who is like ex-Leicester. But other than that, I don't think there's people that look very interested or barely competent sometimes. And I think the biggest problem is they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. No matter how many different international breaks we have, or pre-seasons or part pre-seasons we have, as you pointed out, whichever combination we put in midfield or up front or at the back, you just wonder, do they know what they're meant to be doing? And even the observations, like simple observations, just looking at the pitch and seeing how many more red shirts were always in the frame on the TV, wondering where the rest of our players were. Were they on the outskirts? Were they in wrong positions? It reminds me of that back line against Liverpool, where it was like the 5 at a jointy angle, almost diagonal. And I don't think we've corrected anything in that break. I don't think it's totally desperate. I don't know what it will take to fall in our favour. I don't know, if we're going to face a weaker team, apart from maybe the promoted ones, and a Forest without Ward, Prowse or Gibbs-White. So it's a bit worrying. But no, I'm trying to sit on the fence between both your opinions.
What do you think this meant from Glasner? Sorry for
I didn't
people
see
listening, but it was kind of what
No,
was that all
I
about?
don't know. Shake it all about. I don't know what he's saying. I don't know.
it's
I
early
don't know what
Halloween zombie thing, maybe. I don't know. I
it's
didn't see
just
it, but it was
yeah.
bizarre that he put Munoz and Schlupp on the wrong flanks at the end. Agbenyoni seemed to be the only one that had drive there. I think he completed all his passes. He had a long range shot and tried to make it happen. But as you pointed out before, we'd normally have someone like Wilf just go, right, I'll do this, I'll sort this out, or Elise, or whoever it's been over the years, even someone that's not quite as naturally gifted or flary, but just some personality in
Jedinak.
there.
Somebody like
And
Jedinak, just getting
yeah,
everybody
yeah,
going.
and Gahey seemed to do the opposite. Gahey, the moment we went behind, just seemed to we gave away a few dodgy corners and just again, I was trying to work out how we're going to score. No matter how many forwards you chuck on the pitch, it's not going to fix it this time because he tried that last time and he like put on Sarr and all our forwards at once, and I think we equalised. Or I can't think what game it was now. It was at home. It was a while ago, I think. But I can't believe it's the same team as last year. Total lack of fitness, total lack of what they're supposed to be doing. And last year, everyone knew exactly what they're doing, and everyone was showing their worth for the team and individually. And the stupid mistake from Henderson was just annoying. He probably would have got a 0-0. That might have been about fair, but if you can't be that Forest, we're missing two vital midfielders. We've got problems.
Yeah, and I think they still in attack. They just had something about them. Like even in the first half with set pieces. I'm just looking at Palace, and yes, we did have some shots on target, but that's not something to carry forward to the next game. Like that performance when in attack, it's not. It's like one of the worst games I've seen so far this season, and that's why I'm mainly frustrated. In other games, I say, look, we need to take our chances. We create some good ones. We just need to take them through. Today, no, and it's the same old, to be fair, in terms of, well, I guess it's worse today than what I've seen previously. But talking about Glasner, no win in 8, is the pressure on him or still too early for you?
I don't know. I mean, I've regrettably I've booked tickets for the next 3 games, but I might see his last 2 or 3 games. Who knows how long he'll get? But you look at Spurs and they play at 100 miles an hour. And we're not anywhere near that tempo. We might have been last season when we were looking super sharp and fit. But you worry with someone like Spurs, and at home it could get a little bit tetchy and even toxic if we're not impressing. So I really don't know. Like, I don't want it to go wrong. I don't want to lose a manager like Glasner in his name, but he should know better. He should know how to fix this. And again, lack of inactivity on the bench again. I don't know if his assistants weren't helping him or what, but you wondered what he's trying to aim. And again, I didn't see the gesture that Nick was talking about, but yeah, I want to know how he's going to fix it.
Well, I think there's only one way of it. I would be shocked at this point. I've seen enough this season. I would be shocked at this point if we somehow fix it with having the same system. I'll be shocked. 8 games.
But now he can't win because if he does another set of changes, people will say, get your system and settle on it. And then if he puts forward a back, which it looked like we were screaming out to do today for long periods of it, but
You've done it in the second half.
Not another load of change to set up and settle in another, we got 5 days to the game starts and then a League Cup game. And I don't know what to do now. I don't know if I was him, what would I do? Would I continue being stubborn? Would I try and explain to them more of what they should do? Or would I just tell the rulebook again and start with another system of different players and, 3 midfield becomes 4 midfield or what? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I think when you look at the game against Spurs, it's not going to be easy. I have zero hope for that game. Absolute zero hope. Maybe his idea could be let's play back 5 in that game because, it's against Spurs. But I just don't know. I mean, we've scored 5 goals all season in 8 games. I like, how much worse can it get? I guess we can concede more goals, but we need to take risks. Having 3 defenders as centre backs on the pitch when you're struggling to score goals, and the midfield. Today we saw it. It's so easy to play around us. We're basically trying to defend and hit them on a counter. Our press is non-existent at times. That first half was to me, in terms of the press, it was shocking. they just have so much time on the ball at times. We gave them too much respect. Again, I just don't know how it would work with having 3 there. You just bypass the midfield and bypass the attack as well. I just don't understand how this press is going to work. We're just relying on defenders to maybe have to fight for a clean sheet and then hope for the best in attack. But hoping for the best in attack is just not going to work. You need to be, the system needs to be organized. And we need to have something going forward. And maybe having an extra midfielder then, and maybe having proper wide options like a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, where you still have this defensive stability in the middle by having 2 holding midfielders, or 4-3-3 with having an attacking midfielder through the central. Maybe as it goes through the middle, we have wide options. It's just not working. I don't know how this will change if we keep doing the same thing over and over again. It just today it didn't really help the cause. If we create chances today, we could have said we were unlucky, but I don't think we done enough. Honestly, against Liverpool, I felt. I don't know, the stats probably don't prove it, but I thought against Liverpool we created better chances than we did today. Today, a lot of the shots were just from outside the box. It might be shots on target, but against Liverpool we had some decent chances. So, and in the Liverpool game, Saar was playing. Could that be it? But then again, we Saar started last game. He didn't start this game. It's just confusing. We just don't have that. You just keep changing it every game, and I do think I do think with this back three right now, with the players that we got, it will eventually cost him his job. But yeah, that depends if he wants to change or not, because he has gone with back four during games. You might just need to start with it. But then again, what do you do with Chalobah, Lucroy, Guéhi? Because that's 3 starting centre backs that you got. But the problem that we have is, I mean, we built the system for the defense for Glasner's system. However, losing Elise, and now in hindsight, we can all talk about it, not bringing in that flair number 10, that is costing us massively. So it doesn't matter if you have 3 centre backs that you brought in for Glasner's system when you don't have the flair type of player. I'm not saying Elise-esque because you can't replace Elise, but even like a equivalent player to maybe like Eze in terms of, someone who can get on the ball and try to create something. We don't have that. There's no balance. That's the thing. You don't have the balance when you don't have that. Because you don't have
if you spend 30 million on Nketiah, you can spend 30 million on the other double-barreled name from Arsenal went to Fulham. What's the saying? Smith Rowe.
I wanted a lot. But
then you know what will be happening? We'll be creating shitloads, and Mateta will be missing. Well, why have we got no competition from Mateta? That's the Palace way.
At least if you're creating chances, surely you would be taking. But the problem is, we're not creating chances. You look at this game; it's just individuals trying to create something rather than on the system. For the system to work, we need our wide plays. We need our wing backs to be high and wide. I don't know how many times Mitchell got forward today. Can't remember. I mean, Munoz was getting forward, but that's the thing. It's just
I'm with you. It's hard watching the same mistakes, the same efforts and fitnesses from all of them. But I'm going to jump off, and I hope Tim's around to give me some positivity, or because if he gives up, then we're really in trouble.
There's quite a few callers. All right, then. Thank you for coming on.
No worries. Cheers, everyone. Thank you.
There is a few people waiting behind the scenes, so we'll try to go as quickly as possible. If you're enjoying the stream, leave a like, subscribe. That's the only thing that I ask for, nothing else today, because as you can see, I'm just short from today. I haven't really felt like this in majority of the games this season. Can't remember. Maybe I have. Maybe you lot can correct me. Maybe one game, I can't remember what game that was, but today I'm genuinely just this short, because that is pathetic in my opinion.
The games have been close, but this has kind of tipped me over the edge, because I'm looking at the games we've got coming up. I think Glasner, if we lose against Spurs, I don't think Glasner will go necessarily, unless we just get stuck. And I still believe it will come good, but I just hope I'm not thinking like we did with, or some people did with Hodgson, and some people did for far too long with Pardew. But it's just going on so long now, isn't it?
I don't want him to go. That's it. I don't want him to go. But there's no other option if he.
But we didn't want Vieira to go either, did we?
What was that?
We didn't want Vieira to go, did we?
Yeah, but then stubbornness costs you. So Vieira is different. Vieira is different to Glasner. Glasner's actually won stuff, and he's won Europa League. But if he's stubborn and he doesn't change it about, then why would you want him to stay? Because it's not going to work. That's the thing. That's what I wanted to change it about. Like, have a go with a different system. If it doesn't work, then that's it. Like, it's fair enough, but just persisting with the same thing. And
how much is the so-called project been hampered by the fact that he is relying on Schlupp to come on? And all right, he had a decent shot, but we haven't got who's a Brazilian kid plays on the wing? We haven't got Raksaki with us. The Brazilian kid who got injured again and has barely featured, but we had a massive fanfare. Yeah, that's it, France. So we've lost him. We've lost a core. Walton, what's he doing on the bench? Give him this bloody operation. I'm sure you'll do a news show about it at some point. But what's that all about? If he's going to need an operation to actually make him right, rather than going out on the pitch and possibly getting worse and possibly carrying on not being the Walton we know and love from last season. I don't know. It might just be simple. We score a goal, suddenly the positivity comes back. Do you remember a few seasons ago, we were rubbish and we scored a goal against Wolves, and then suddenly it like turned our season around because we realised we could do it. And it was just all psychological.
Yeah, but
I'm wishing here a bit. I'm clutching at straws, Dave.
Yeah, you're clutching at straws. And I'm just trying to be real about the situation. Yes, score a goal. I mean, if Eze scored from 35 yards out, yes, it would have been great if we got a point like that. But you can't rely on that, Nick. That's the problem. You can't rely on shots like that or shooting from outside the box. We are not creating enough chances in front of goal by going into the box. We're just relying on individuals to create stuff. And for me, the option is you go forward at the back. You don't have three centre backs. You go forward at the back. If you don't go maybe two up front, you put an extra body in midfield, or you put an extra body up front. It's up to him.
Mateta got a good little. Actually, showed a bit of fight towards the end because he nearly whipped the ball back across, didn't he? Unfortunately, it wasn't back far enough, but at least he was in there to run into that channel and be looking to do that. So if the chances are there, they're just not falling.
Yeah. All right, let's go through the guests because there are a few people, and let's go through them as quickly as possible because it is late in the night. Let's bring on Patrick next. Patrick.
Hey guys, that sucked. That just flat out sucked. I never agree with D 100%, but that sucked. All our best created shots are from the outside of the box. Hey, look, it's not like we have Vinicius and Mbappe hitting those shots like they did over the weekend. I think half of the problem is we're all playing hero ball. I call him the shadow because I don't know what he does anymore. He gets the ball, he takes 1-on-4 and he misses. Wilf did that and he actually passed it to other people where he'd score himself. That to me, if Glesner doesn't want to change the system, then change the players within the system. Mitchell does nothing going forward. Nothing. Like absolutely nothing. Eze should be benched to me. I'm sorry. Anybody could kick the ball and miss it by 10 feet. I mean, he's not playing up to snuff. I don't know who else there. I mean, that's the two I think of at the moment.
Who is
well, you're right. You're right. I mean, I didn't think Nketiah played bad today. But the thing about the thing about our strikers, and I'll even defend Mateta here. This year, when they do get the ball, they're getting them out wide. And like you said, there's nobody in the box. The problem is they should be the ones in the box getting the feed in. And I mean, and we're putting crosses in without Mateta in there. And then when Mateta's not in there, there's no crosses. There's no organization. It's individual ball. And it doesn't work in the long run. And if you want a positivity out of it, this is still a good roster. I talked about it last game. It's one of our better rosters talent-wise. I think Nketiah can come good. I think he should play up top with Mateta. Why not try it? I mean, you tried it one game. Sarr, you talking about wide players. He's the best winger we have, and he's on the bench again? For what? Like, he's playing guys out of positions. I don't want to see Kamada start again. He didn't play too bad today, but he's supposed to be on the left. He's on the right. He's in the middle. It's just nobody knows what they want to do. If this was Roy, everybody would be thrashing this dude like it was nobody's business. I think he's got a few games left because he hasn't made any changes. The little subtle change he makes to the system doesn't work. And to me, Jeffrey Schultz looks better than Mitchell going forward. I mean, Schultz nearly tied the game with that one shot today that nearly curled in. But it's just a big mess, kind of like my rant all over the place. So I would change the system. I like to see them two up top, but maybe 4-3-3. If you don't have to bench Chalobah, you just put him in the midfield. He played right back. He played defensive midfield at Chelsea. Go with the two, back to basics, two defensive
like
midfield.
4 or 5 games though, Patrick. He's not played there a lot. That's the thing. Everybody keeps saying it, but out of all the games he's played 9 at either right back or left back. So it's not that many. People saying, "Oh yeah, he can play there." No, he has played there.
Under Tuchel, he played like 5 or 6 games there at least before.
Tuchel normally plays.
I'm talking about Chalobah. I'm talking about Chalobah when he played defensive midfield. He did that. He did that. He scored his first goal against Palace, if you remember. But the point is, something's got to change. And if he doesn't want to change it, I can't believe I actually typed it in my little bio down there. It should say Moyes with a question mark. I mean, there's a couple guys that will do it. Will get it correct. I'm not worried about us getting relegated. I'm just wondering how long Steve Parrish is going to give them, because it's not like prior years where we're complaining about Parrish didn't do this and Parrish didn't do that. That's usually my soapbox. Hey, they've spent some money on the team. Yeah, we've had to sell players to buy, but we spent a little bit of money in the offseason. These aren't bad players. Oh, by the way, that's for the goal that we gave up. Yeah, everybody's on Henderson because he should have saved it. If Lacroix blocks it, then we got a bad draw. But at least it's a point. Because Chalobah headed it and right to Wood, and Lacroix just looked at the thing go shoot right by him. Easy step in and block the shot. So we're not doing our goals we give up are some of the dumbest ones, because it's the preceding action before the actual action happened that screws us over. But offensively, I mean, you can't be afraid to bench some players, man. What has Eze done? Vieira was the only one to ever do it.
I agree with you with Eze. I do agree with you with Eze. But the problem I have is, yes, Eze hasn't been performing well, and he does need to step up, especially if he wants to move to a big club. But you bench him for who? Asher Agbenoni, he came off the bench today. He was exciting. But for me, it's not. I just want to see a change in the system before we start talking about benching players. And by the way, that doesn't mean, look, I would have liked Chalobah to be right back if Munoz wasn't fit. But if we're playing further back, I don't want Chalobah at right back. I want Munoz still. Like we have to take more risks.
I want Chalobah in the midfield if we're playing forward to back.
I don't think we need to, though. I don't think we need Patrick. If Decore is back next week, even if Decore ain't back, I would rather have Lerma as a sitting number 6 than Chalobah. Like, I'm fine with that. We don't need to include Chalobah in the side. We don't need to. This is the problem. Like, we don't need to go with the same 11 as today. We have got other options.
Okay, but
better.
Yeah, but I don't know if Decore is going to be ready to play a full 90 next week. I'm looking at it like that week to week. But I hear what you're saying. Put proper players in their proper position.
Because we're struggling. We're struggling to create chances. Yeah. So putting Chalobah there as a number 6, yes, he can play there. But I don't think that really, I don't know. I don't think that really helps the situation. You go far at the back, then you might have a holding player. If you have that holding player, I think Lerma could do a job there. He's fine with that. If you give him that responsibility, then it's about what's in front of him. Put maybe Eze centrally, put who's next to him, put a winger out on the left, put a winger out on the right. Up front, like that, you got a bit more balance. You got Eze through the middle. You got players out wide. You got
who's the winger on the left?
Still overlap. Like right now, we just have
who's your winger on?
Up there. It feels like that.
Well, who's your winger on the left? And if Eze is going centrally in a 4-3-3
right now, if Eze was to go centrally, then I would prefer to play Eze down the left. I think that would be the best case scenario. Eze down the left. Look. Nketiah is not bad on the ball. We saw it today as well. I wouldn't mind him as like a shadow striker behind Mateta, but a bit more centrally and behind him to try to pick up the ball.
Why not 4-4-2? Work. Just a basic 4-4-2. Small guy, big guy.
Well, it depends. It can be 4-4-2 out of possession where you press them with 2 strikers. It can be a 4-3-3 with Nketiah as like a shadow striker rather than like a playmaker. But the biggest thing is we'll have Sarr there. Down the right.
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
That's what I've been calling for.
Down the right. Eze can play down the left. And then at least like that, there's an over-reliance on the likes of Mitchell, which there is right now, and he's just not delivering going forward. And that's the issue because we don't have any wingers. He's the wing-back option, and He's just not creating enough. And then down the right, there's no balance because Sarr's not playing. And then Eze...
Munoz is just running a fly pattern up. Munoz just running a fly pattern up and down the pitch because there's nothing for him to do. There's nobody to work off of. So he just gets the ball, either cuts it back. He tried to cut it inside a few times today and lost possession. That's what I said. We're all just kind of upset with it because it's all over the place. It's just all over the place. And I tell you, Steve Parrish's history is he's not going to be that patient. I mean, I don't know how long he gives them, and I don't want the guy to lose his job, but people have lost their job for less. And I don't really want to see
Patrick. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you think the players are giving their all? Do they look as interested as they should? But there doesn't seem to be much.
No, I think they're giving it their all. I think. Look, I can tell you why I think that. Jeffrey Shaw, every time he's been in the game this year, has run hard. Today, I mean, I think they do. I just don't think. I don't know. To be honest with you, maybe last year they got their head pumped a little bit, thinking they're better than they really were. But see, that also
we did as well.
But I got to be honest, that crap about with international tournaments and all that, every team in the world faces that. They're just not playing good. And if you keep running the same 11 out there, I don't care what and I'll leave it on this. I don't care what damn system in any sport and anything. If you keep running the same people out there that are not doing the damn job, then you should be the one fired because you're not changing anything. Now, you guys got other people you need to get on.
And hopefully he does change it.
Yeah.
Because I don't
so,
want it to end.
Guys, we'll give it a run at Spurs. I think with the Spurs game, I'll actually think we'll play better than we did today because as good as the Spurs are going forward, they outside of the one defender that's fast, they suck going back. And they will leave you holes. They play one way, and we can counter them. Now, I'm not saying we're going to win. I'm just saying I think with room behind and a proper adjustment here and there, I think it'll be a good game. So I'll leave you guys on that.
All right, Patrick. Thank you for calling.
All right, take care of yourselves, man. Take care.
Cheers.
That was Patrick having his say. Let's go over to the next guest. Jack has been waiting for a while. I know a lot of people have been waiting for a while, but Jack, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. I can see you left under your name. Oh dear. Oh dear indeed. 1-0 defeat. What do you make of it?
I mean, I have to say off the back of Patrick's comments, and the way I see it is, Nick, I wish I had your enthusiasm and I wish I had Patrick's ideology, because I'm sorry, but how you can take anything positive out of that game, okay, is like you've said it yourself, D. The chances we had, I don't even call them chances. They're shots at nothing. I don't care if we're shooting from 35, 40 yards. The shots we had today mean nothing because that is all we had. Okay, keeper makes a good save, fine, fair enough. They're paid to do that, right? The balance of our team is gone. We have nothing. When you talk about the bigger teams, you talk about the Man Uniteds when they're going through really tough times. What's always pressed on? It's their identity. It's the way they play football, their style of play. Can you sit here right now and tell me what our style of play is right now? Because if you can tell me, that's amazing, because I ain't got a clue.
Yeah, that's the thing. I agree with you. It just, as you said, the chance that we created, Nick, you're mute. The chances that we created.
I don't visually represent it like that, really.
Yeah. Do you know what? I saw that.
Words.
I mean, I tell you what, Nick, I'm glad you saw that, because in that moment, right, I saw 90 minutes of Glasner sitting in his chair talking to his assistant, right?
Yeah.
And that's the one motion I saw of him out of his seat. And what the hell did that mean? He hadn't got a clue. It tells me, I'm sorry, but like when I touch on Patrick's comments, I'm sorry, but when you look at a lone player from Chelsea and you're talking about chucking him in midfield, it's crazy. It is crazy. You cannot put Chalobah in the midfield, in any midfield position, at the way we are playing. We got exposed today. The way that we started the game and finished the game, I'm sorry, but that's been coming. It's been coming for a few games now. And everyone think, we always seem to pull ourselves together and put on a better performance against the bigger teams. But coming into this game today, it felt to me like a draw wasn't enough. A draw didn't feel enough to me, because we have to put our stamp on it. And it's just, I don't know. It's like I've sat here waiting in the queue thinking of all these things I'm gonna say because I'm not gonna lie, there's nothing positive. I mean, Kamada. Well, last time I was on with you guys, I said I didn't even want to talk about him. The sad thing is he wasn't the worst player on the pitch today. But something's got to change. I agree with you, D. I have to say, I mean, the 5 at the back is going to cost him his job. I think everyone's in agreement. We don't want to see him go. It'll be the saddest thing in our club in a couple of years. You know, Vieira is a bit different. It was a bit of a different situation. We had a fullback option and bringing Roy back. But we have to look at it now is when you look at the naivety, the stubbornness, the changes he makes for the game, it's just same old at the moment. And we have to change something. Agbenone, when he came on, he did more in a couple of touches. He brought a bit more excitement, a bit more desire than half the players on that pitch.
And then a bit of an air shot as well, just to top it off.
Sorry, what's that?
He had a bit of an air shot as well at the end.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like it's a big game for him. He comes into it when we're down in the dump, but he comes on that pitch and he looks like he wants to do something with it.
Well, he's got something to prove, Jack. We need players need to show.
But they've all got something to prove. They've all got something. It doesn't take an academy player to come on the pitch and say that they've got something to prove. I'm sorry, but I don't know if it's been touched on much throughout the season, but getting rid of Raksaki. We talk about a creative, left-footed player that can do something with it. You know, when Elise got injured and he had a little run of games, whether it was off the bench, right? At home, everyone was behind him. It was like when Wilf was on the ball. He gets on that ball and everyone is screaming at him to get forward. Raksaki last season, when he made a couple of appearances, he's shown that he is up to that standard. I'm not saying he has to start every game. I'm not saying he's going to influence every game. But when you look at Kamada, I'm sorry, but there's a reason we got this guy on a free. I don't care what he did with Frankfurt years ago. There's a reason we got this guy on a free. He didn't play well for Lazio, and we got what we got. Right, and he's had chance after chance after chance. And like I said today, he wasn't the worst player on the pitch, but the good things he did out of his natural position. He did it deeper, which affects our whole balance. The way he played, he fell deep and he played the ball nicely. But that's not what we're looking for. We've got players that can do that, and we don't need him to fall deep. Like I said, there's so many things that I could say, but I'd think at this point, I'd hate to see Glasner lose his job. But there's one thing that we can change, and it's not on individual performances. It's not on substitutions. It's our formation. We have to change formation.
Yeah.
And you can't spend 30 million on a player and bring him off the bench and maybe start in one game and then you bench him again because Mateta wants to play. So you've got to find a system that either fits them both, or you accept that we've made the wrong decision.
Do you think after today, there's been conversation during the international break about Glasner seriously considering changing the system? Do you think today is the game where, you know, that's it? Like, he will change the system based on what we saw?
I think, well, I mean, my mentality coming into this game is we had to change the system. Okay. Talks on the last game was that it was kind of loose end now. And the only thing realistically that we can change that we haven't tried already is the system. And that's the thing that scares me with Glasner is he's looking a little bit one-dimensional now. He's looking like he's running out of ideas. He's using the players that he can use. Can't fault that. Substitutions, he throws the kitchen sink at it. But he throws the kitchen sink at it because we got it wrong in the first place. And I like I said, I think that is where the doubts start to come now. There was a slight talk in the last game of, you know, a bit more pressure. If this carries on, then there might be pressure on his job. I think one game later, this is all we're talking about now. And it's for a reason. It's not like we're all just frustrated and individually we played badly. I just think there's so much naivety in the way that we're playing. And, you know, something has to change. And like Jamie Carragher said after the game after the game finished, he said, before you know it, one more international break, you're at Christmas. You're nearly halfway through the season. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we're first couple of games, new players, Olympics, settling back in, no preseason. What's the excuse now? What is the excuse now?
Yeah, look, I agree with you, Jack. Let's see if he does change against Spurs. Then again, it's Spurs, so I don't know if he looks at the attacking you know, they're very attacking side. I don't know if he looks at that and says, "Oh, we need to keep 5 at the back," but something needs to change. And for me, I do agree that it has to be the system. Otherwise, it will unfortunately be Glasner. But look, thank you for coming on. Hopefully, we'll catch up with you again soon.
Of course. I just want to leave it on this. I think the worst mistake we made is getting Raksaki on loan. I think regardless of anything else this season, we've shown ourselves that we may have shot ourselves in the foot there. But regardless, I mean, we're always going to... I said tonight, I might even not tune into the game next week, but of course I will. That's the Palace life.
Exactly.
But like I say, regardless, I mean, I'm up for the Fulham game. I've got tickets for the Fulham game. So if I see you guys, it'd be nice to see you. We'll have a rant about it in person. And hopefully we can turn our form around.
Hopefully. Thank you for calling in, Jack. Great call.
No worries, guys. Take care.
Take care. Raksaki getting mentioned, and I think it's a good point. It's a good point because I mean, Raksaki was the funniest thing about Raksaki is we spoke about in the summer. I did think that he could be a replacement for Elise. Well, the Elise replacement out of the names being mentioned, it could be Raksaki as well.
Is the difference between League One and the Premier League, and I mean now he's in the Championship? There's a big difference there. I know he really tore up trees when he was at Charlton, and he's done really well at Sheffield United. He wasn't picked, was he, at the weekend?
Yeah. Whenever I've watched him, though, Nick, forget about. I'll be honest. I didn't watch him at Charlton, but whenever I've watched Raksaki at Palace and I've looked at some of the plays that we have, I've always felt for a long time. In fact, in Vieira's first season, I remember the Chelsea game where he came off the bench. Before that game, actually, I might have said it. I don't know. You can go back and check it. But this is for a few seasons. I think Raksaki has been ready to be a squad player at Premier League level. Whether it could be a starter back then, I didn't know. But as time has gone on, I did think, you know what? Why not give him a shout? I think he will be here next season. I think the idea is to send him to the Championship, and he will be our Championship signing.
Was he only sent out? Was he sent out and loaned before France got injured?
I mean, France has always been injured, so God knows.
No, I know, but there was a small window of like 4 days where he was coming back, wasn't there?
I don't think that's really the case. I got the sense from early on in the summer that, you know, Raksaki is going to be leaving. It was always that, you know, there was no real indication that, oh, we're waiting on France or we're waiting on someone else. It just seems like we made up our mind about sending him out on loan. Maybe that's because of Kamada, because maybe we thought Kamada will be that right side of number 10, so he won't get as many game time at Palace. But right now it's looking different. Let's bring on Mr. Q on a downward spiral.
I think we'd all testify to that. I've made a great load of notes. Loads has been covered, so I won't go over too many points. I think you guys are the experts. I have the greatest respect for you guys in making suggestions about who you bring in and positions and formations. That's over my head. But
we're not experts. Don't be deluded. We're not, by no means experts.
We're fans like you.
Good stuff. Well, Nick, I wanted to comment on what Nick said about did the players all seem engaged today, or did they seem to really want it? The one word that just came to my mind through the whole game was the whole team was anemic. There was just no fight, no colour. The shirts were as washed out as the performance, and that
You're laughing. I thought the very same thing when the camera was panning at the Nottingham Forest fans. I genuinely, the word anemic went into my head when I saw these pale East Midlanders in the terraces. So right. that's tickled me. That has.
Yeah, and at times when you sort of saw close up of our players looking at each other, there was a kind of lost look in the eyes, like, oh, you know, what we're going to do, what's happening, when is it going to come right? I mean, God bless. Hughesy had a shot. He had a snap chance to get a shot from outside the box when the ball broke loose, and he had a go and it was blocked. And I said to myself, fair enough. You know, often we say, oh, he should have hit it first time. He did hit it first time and it was blocked. But then there was another time when Eze had a shot on the edge of the box, and there was one defender right on him and another couple of defenders just behind the other defender. So he was trying to shoot through 3 defenders. He didn't even find half a yard, and yet went for the shot, which immediately cannoned off the defender's shin in a way. Just shows a kind of a panic to the attack. I mean, I don't mind shooting here and there. That's quite frankly all we've come down to, as we were saying earlier. but shooting when you've got a defender right on you is completely fruitless. I mean, Scott, and the one other thing was that towards the end of the game, we conceded a corner, and Mark Gay is over in the far corner where he conceded it. He then starts strolling back, and if Forest had taken that corner quickly, that ball would have been in the penalty area before he'd walked into the penalty area. And I thought he is still the skipper, isn't he? He's the skipper. I thought it set a terrible example. I've got the highest regard for the guy. I think, and everyone comments he's such a lovely guy, but I feel that the fact that he conceded that corner and he's a central defender, and then he doesn't run or at least jog back into the penalty area, I thought was an awful indictment of the sort of the character of the players that night. Someone mentioned earlier about the buzz. There was a real buzz about Forest, and they're all working for each other and running around, and it seemed as everyone was up for it. But we've been there before, and we've seen Palace in this kind of slide. I mean, I think you could throw in Harry Kane and Lionel Messi into our setup, and it wouldn't change our performance, because it's whatever system isn't right, or the players aren't up. Players don't believe in the system that they're being asked to play. They're kind of going through the motions and kind of going, look, it didn't work again. Look, it didn't work again. Look, it didn't work again. Rather than saying, come on, guys, we're 11 players on the pitch. We're the only 11 players on the pitch. Glasner's not on the pitch. We need to rip up the rule book potentially and do something about it. Sky say things like, "Oh, Palace haven't got regularly turned over by big numbers," but what is it? 5 goals in 8 games, and one of those was an own goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we've only scored 4 goals in 8 games. Is this as bad as it was when Hodgson took over from De Boer? Because De Boer lost 4 on the trot, and then didn't it take Hodgson the 8th game?
Yeah, 7
to
games.
win against Chelsea or something? The last game we thought we were going to win. So we're 8 games and 3 points, and we were 8 games and 3 points, albeit having just won a match. So in a way, we're in a worse position. We've got the same number of points after the De Boer and the first 3 games of Hodgson. So I agree with everybody that I don't want to see Glasner go. I've got a lot of time for the guy. I'm just worried for his job security now and where we go if he gets the boot. So I think, to round up, I think a change. I think if he is contemplating a change of system, or if Parish has a word with him and says, "Oi, Ollie, change of system might be an idea, mate," and you've got 3 games to prove yourself, maybe, because we're going to be rattling on into November with only points in single figures.
Yeah, I think today was the wake up call that maybe we needed. It's just unfortunate that it happened now before the international break, because it would have been better to work on it during the international break. But saying that, I mean, you did say before the game that the first week of international break, players are away, it's more of a break, and then players join like 3-4 days before. Now he's got a whole week. He's got a whole week to work on the team. There's no excuses. He's got a whole squad to work on the team. So if he's going to make a system change, we're doing against Spurs, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, if we don't get anything against Spurs, and then we've got Wolves coming up and we lose against Wolves, I think that will be it potentially, depending on other results. But I don't know how he will survive that, because Wolves, another side who haven't won a single game so far this season. So if we lost against Wolves after losing against Spurs, that'll be 10 games without a win.
I think there can often be an overreaction. If you lose your first 3, 4, or 5 games, then it's like a massive spotlight. 3, 4, or 5 games, no points, let's say. If you lose 3, 4, or 5 games mid-season, kind of gets unnoticed, especially if you're in mid-table mediocrity and you don't get any points for 3 or 4. But I think if you go 10 games or 11 games or 12 games at any stage of the season and only pick up a handful of points, anybody's job's going to be in at major risk.
Yeah, so he does need to change up. But look, some great points there. Thank you for calling into the show, and hopefully we catch up with you again soon.
Will do. Cheers, fellas.
Take care. Okay, let's go through a few other guests who's been waiting. Of course, keep sending your comments. I've been reading them out. I know a lot of people are frustrated. Some people are talking about David Moyes. I don't really understand. point of Moyes. But I mean, if we're in a relegation battle, just save hands. But he just needs to change the system. Let's bring on
I'm
Rich.
sorry,
Nick.
people haven't seen West Ham under Moyes. They just weren't that good.
Yeah, exactly. Rich, another defeat, 8 games now without a win. Your thoughts? Where did it go wrong today?
Everywhere, we're rubbish.
Yeah, where did it go wrong?
We're rubbish. There's this system. I'm trying to say something that someone may not have said already, but the problem is it's kind of like a repeating cycle here with us. The system's not working. It's been found out. It needs changing. We're very lopsided. If Mitchell has the ball, there seems to be 2 or 3 options. But granted, Mitchell's tend to always pass the ball backwards. Munoz gets the ball now. He's got no one. So it lacks balance. And to be fair, Hughes does try to get across, which then leaves a massive gaping hole in midfield. I wanted to give Kamada the benefit of the doubt because he's been playing deep and not playing in his natural 10 position. Now, I'm going to say defensively, he was good. We didn't sign him to be a defensive player. Going forward, he was anonymous. We need to start looking at Ebbs as well. Because granted, he had a few shots, but the moment that Forest scored, he lost all fight and all bottle and like he was non-existent. Glasner needs to stop taking off the wrong players. I don't know why Hughes came off.
Or Nketiah.
I don't know why they came off. And granted, if it's for a goal, you keep Nketiah on and go 2 up top. If he wants to play this 3 at the back system so badly, play 3-4-1-2 instead of 2-1. Ebb stays central in the 10 because it's not working for him out wide on the left hand side. I just personally think just go 4-3-3. Just do it.
I was going to ask you about that. I don't think it's a problem of having 2 up front rather than 1. The problem starts with the 3. Like we can stop there because it's the wide options, as you said. Mitchell, he's not in a great run of form, but today, I mean, nothing going forward. I can't remember what he done really going forward. I don't know if he really attempted to go forward. I remember Munoz, but the problem is Munoz goes forward. There's no one there. So I think that is where the problem lies. Now, if we were creating chances with 3 at the back and we're talking about, maybe have 2 up front, then fair enough. But it just starts from the 3. That's where it starts from. So that's where I think we need to change it up. But do you think he will after today?
If he doesn't, he's going to lose his job.
I agree. I
think
he will.
I think he's got into Wolves.
I
don't want to see him go either, but if he keeps being stubborn and persistent on this, then if he goes, he goes. Like we said it, Kamada doesn't work in the 8. We're trying to get a goal, and he puts him in the 8. We stop building anything. It's just his decisions, and it's killing us, to be honest. I think the frustrating thing for me as a Palace fan right now is when I look at all the goals we conceded, I can't tell you one goal, maybe the Chelsea goal, that I could say, actually, that was a good goal. In the sense of where we've not lost the ball in a stupid area or something. And you look at today's goal, all right, Chalobah's got to be heading that out. You can't be heading that back into play. But then Henderson's biscuit wrists, it wasn't even a tough shot.
Oh yeah, that I can't believe it. But then again, Rich, I don't know what you think, but I mean, if we, let's say in the first half, if we were 1-0 down, could we really complain? We were very close. We cleared it off the line with Lerma. They hit the post. Like, it just wasn't a game of great performances. Of course, when you look at the Henderson howler, which it is a howler, it does hurt because you'd rather leave with a point than none. But this could maybe be the wake-up call. Look, we lost this game. We didn't get no point out of it. It was away from home. We didn't create that many chances. Maybe this could be it. This could be maybe a point. It could have been, all right, cool, we got the point. We'll work again on an attack, etc. But this might be it now. It might be like, all right, Glasner, you need to change up. We lost this game. Yes, it was a Henderson howler, but we didn't create anything going forward either. So
no, exactly, yeah.
So I mean, we didn't really deserve anything out of this game, to be fair.
No,
maybe
we
a
did.
draw.
We did.
But then
And-
again, even then, I feel like Forest would have been hard done by if they didn't get a point. If I was a Forest fan, I'd be annoyed if I didn't beat Palace.
Yeah,
based on-
and the funny thing is with that, this wasn't even Forest's best performance. But they would tell you they weren't good themselves. You know, it's just we were shambolic. Look, we have to change from it. I don't care, like, if, let's say it's a Spurs game, number one, we've got to get more numbers in midfield because we're struggling in that department. And number two, we need width. So play 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. If we don't win the game, at least we've tried a new formation.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
if he goes into it with 3-4, the formation we're playing again, it's just going to annoy the fan base. And
You know what? I've been thinking
The
about
problem
this.
is, though, sorry, can I come in here? If Glasner's so exacting about the way that his formations are going to play, if he can't get it to work for that formation in 8 games, how's he going to get it to work for 4-3-3 and 1?
Well,
that's
he
what a
came
coach
into Palace.
gets paid
and-
for.
Yeah, I know. But
Yeah, when he came into Palace, when he changed it up, he worked like straight away. I don't think that's a major problem. And also, we have gone far at the back. Even today, when the subs happened, Chalobah was at right back, Munoz went left back. Then, of course, Schlupp went as well. We didn't actually technically play 3 at the back. But the problem is there's no balance. The Munoz is not a left back, left wing back. Like he's not that player. And then I'll be honest, the subs, when the subs happened, I had no faith we're getting anything out of the game. I thought that was it.
Absolutely.
And what did the subs do? What did we really do? Asher was the
I
only
will
one.
say though, Asher, just, you know what? I don't care. I know it sounds mad. Just start the kid. He's the only one that looks direct. He's actually looked to take on a player, and I think what was he on for, like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, maybe a bit of
and
more than that.
Mateta
He was bright.
as well. He
You
was
know?
good when he came on. I thought Mateta put himself about.
Yeah, so that's why I said if we go to the 4-2-3-1, we're struggling on that left hand side. Just play Asher there. Just give the kid a chance. Why not?
Yeah. Nick, sorry, what was you saying?
I know it sounds ridiculous, and I said earlier the players didn't seem to have their heart in it, but wasn't Nketiah trying too hard? I mean, he had 5 shots fairly early on. I don't know how many were actually on target, but a couple of times he could have perhaps squared it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you can see all around. We're just desperate as a team. Ebbs was having shots where the shot wasn't even on. I mean, he was unlucky on other occasions, and Nketiah was having shots. I think there's one shot he got rolled to him in the box, and he just kicked it wide. It's like there's no shot on there. You know, I think we just become so desperate, which is a big problem.
Yeah. I think it is desperation at times going forward, and desperation. You might have the odd game or two where you get lucky and the individual, performs and scores a goal. But what I loved on the Glasner before was the fact that we had style of play. We had patterns of play going forward. We had pressing triggers. Right now, we are reverting back to relying on individuals because this system is not working. There is no style of play. There's no
been
pattern.
found out.
And that's not going to, and it's simply not going to work in the long term. Like, we've been here for 10 plus years now. Like, we know the Premier League. We know how it works. It's just not going to work. It will cost him his job. It's not like he might be very lucky winning one game, but it's not sustainable like this by relying on individuals rather than actually having a system that works. And this system with 3 at the back is just not working right now. So he either changes it up or unfortunately it will cost his job. Like, it's not something crazy because we've been here, like we've done this when managers been stubborn in the past and it just doesn't work. I'm not saying he's stubborn yet, but going forward next game onwards, if he does keep it like this, we've had international break, we've had 2 international breaks. I'm tired of the excuses about players not being fit. We're going into November. Yeah, that's over. Like, we're talking about something that Euros happen in July, Copa America happen in July. Like that, get rid of that. Otherwise, that excuse is always going to be there throughout the season. Yeah. Now it's up to him. It's really up to him. Honestly, I think it's up to him because if we do change it up, I do think we'll create more chances. And that will give a bit of optimism. And I do think goals will come. The goals will come. But Rich, before you go, because I was actually thinking about this, you mentioned Asher potentially starting down the left. I don't think he'll do that. But if Asher doesn't start down the left, would you take Nketiah as a left wing option and put Eze through the middle? Because I'll give you time to think about it. Because my idea is, even today, you saw it when he beat his man down the left hand side. I think Nketiah is very good on the ball. I think he's not scared to take on his man.
Yeah.
And Eze could potentially go through the middle. I don't really see Asher starting down the left. And with Eze going through the middle, let's say we played a 4-2-3-1 or even a 4-3-3, it gives him that freedom to go over to the left or go over to the right to support. Imagine Eze, Sarr, and Munoz linking up down the right-hand side, or Nketiah,
Yeah.
Mitchell, and Eze. It just makes it a bit more easier. Would you be open to that? And also,
I guess tactically that could work because we won't rely on him having to drop too deep to get the ball because we've got the third person in midfield. But it then highlights the biggest issue that we have, that one, Mateus França can't stay fit, and two, we loaned out Jets. Because we've got no natural wingers.
Yeah. Apparently, Oliver Glasner, according to Mitch here, has said at the moment, I don't think it's a tactical problem, it's a mentality problem. That's going to cost him his job if he doesn't realise that. But yeah, I think that's a bit crazy.
That's one of the quotes where you're next on the line here. I'm trying to save myself.
That's putting it on the players, isn't it? And as an earlier caller said, it's up to the manager to manage the players and get them going.
Yeah, I mean, last season when Mitchell was performing great, who did we say? Oh wait, Oliver Glasner when we had to scoring goals. Oliver Glasner, the manager can make or break some of these players. We saw it under Roy versus Glasner when Glasner had to first come in. A manager can get these players, full on confidence. They're playing great, as we saw with Elise, Eze towards the end of last season. Or they can end up playing like this. It does fall on the manager as well. The manager's responsibility is to make sure the players have the motivation, have the confidence, and if it's a mentality problem, you might talk about the players, but it goes back to the manager.
This quote now tells me this is the beginning of the end.
What was that?
This quote here tells me now this is the beginning of the end. He's lost the dressing.
Yeah. If he truly believes that, if he doesn't change it, maybe if he does an analysis, he changes his mind. But I'm just being hopeful at this point. If he's thinking like this right now, then it's not looking good for him. It's seriously not looking good for him. I mean, that's so unfortunate.
Can I just ask both of you, why the fucking hell can't we as Crystal Palace have nice things for once?
I don't know.
Please, just 1 year.
I don't know.
I mean, our season only starts in April, so
Yeah, don't worry. We'll win like 10 games in a row. Just wait. You just have to wait another God knows how many months before we're starting. But yeah, that quote to me, it is dangerously worrying times. I'll be honest, going forward, if it's like that. But look, Rich, I'm not going to keep you any longer. It is late in the night. Thank you for calling into the show. Also, a shout out to Eagle Eye Football. Make sure to check them out. They'll also be having the match reactions as well. So check out Eagle Eye Football on YouTube. But take care, bro.
No, appreciate you taking it.
See you later. That was Rich having his say from Eagle Eye Football. Let's go to the comment section before we wrap up. Shannon's saying it's both. The mentality sucks because my screen is broken from the Brentford game. Exactly. This season for me started as a howler because half my screen is still cracked from the Brentford game, from the kickoff. It's both. The mentality sucks because the tactics aren't working. I don't know. This is from Gay apparently, according to Jamal, saying at the moment nothing's going for us. We're creating chances, but any slight mistakes, we start to get punished. I don't think we're creating enough chances. I'll be honest, I disagree with both your quotes coming out from the manager and the player right now. I haven't punched my screen. My camera actually fell on my screen right before kickoff against Brentford when I was trying to do the watch along, and yeah, it has been literally the summary of Palace so far this season.
You were such a professional, nobody would have noticed at the time. I remember I was on that broadcast with you, and you wouldn't have thought anything was wrong if you were watching.
Yeah. It was a start of the end. And Daniel saying so many experienced managers on this chat. If you boys know so much, why you're not managing Palace? I mean, it's a game of opinions. So people will have the right to their opinion. I don't think anyone's saying that they're the manager. But I mean, if there's no point talking about it, it goes back to the thing. If there's no point talking about it because the manager knows best, then there's no point of anyone ever having an opinion on football. Might as well just shut it all down. Jamal saying, I don't know what's wrong with the team. Aaron saying we have a dangerous winger like Sarr being pursued by AC Milan and Sarr, and we ain't even taking advantage of it. Playing systems to get the most out of him, and other players too. Kamada scored 2 games for Japan. I just think it's just a whole systematic issue. And if Glasner tries to downplay it, then then he'll lose his job. Simple as that. There's no point being stubborn. I'm not going to be stubborn and say, oh, give time and do this and that. It's not about time. It's just not working, and this is just stubbornness. I will give him time if he changed it up, and there was something to look forward to. And let's say we play 4 at the back. All right, we're playing 4 at the back. Let's give him time for him to solidify this team. We'll 4 at the back, and let's see how we do then. But if it's the same old, why give him time? Because if he won't change it, but that's the thing. Let's see. Let's find out if he will later on down the line against Spurs. Massive game there. But look, people, we're gonna wrap up here. Thanks to every single one of you that's called into the show, as well as leaving down your comments. If you do have any question that's been missed, it's been a busy show. As you can see, over 300 people even right now at 11:30. Well, closing on 11:30 p.m. Leave them in the comment section down below after we end the video. If you have enjoyed it, please drop a like and subscribe. It is the present times. There are very big questions and answers that maybe we're waiting for. I guess we won't find out till the Spurs game. But that's it from me and Nick. And until next time, up the Palace.
Cheers.